So, despite being 26 and 30 and underperforming massively, the Lakers didn't do anything at the trade deadline. And this is partially because they didn't really have many pieces to trade. I think their only real offer or combinations of players was Talen Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, and a 2027 first round pick. And they chose not to make a trade. I don't think they really had any trades available to them. So now the question is, where do they go from here? They're 26 and 30, and they're just not very good right now and have been really disappointing for a LeBron team. Now you have to say, I think the first thing is being healthy, because I think they are at least a bit better than they are right now when they have LeBron and Anthony Davis healthy, and that has been an issue for big parts of this season. But even still, even if they are fully healthy, I don't think this team has what it takes to compete for a championship. So one of the first things that was said by Woj was that they're going to try and hit the buyout market, which does make sense. They don't have to give up any assets. The problem with that is, one, the players that are on the buyout market and are going to get bought out aren't that great. And two, they probably don't want to go to the Lakers, given that they are a 9 seed right now and might not even make the playoffs. I'm pretty sure if I was getting bought out, I'd rather go to a team that has a chance and is contending, like the Bucks or the Suns or the Warriors or the Celtics, who have a lot of opportunities for like playing time, though they're not like contending in that group. But just overall, I think it's going to be tough on the buyout market. Looking at the available players, John Hollinger did a rankings of players who could be bought out. John Wall, I don't know if he'll get bought out. If he does, maybe he could help the Lakers a little bit. But after that, Gary Harris, Goran Dragic, Eric Bledsoe, Dennis Schroeder, Robin Lopez. I mean, none of these guys are really changing your life if they're the Lakers. The only guy, I think Gary Harris could help them, but why would he really want to go to the Lakers? It doesn't seem like a great situation. So maybe they get a few guys on the buyout market. Maybe they don't. But even so, I don't think that's going to change their fortunes. If we look at some other stuff, I think, they need to get better defensively and offensively. I think defensively, you need AD to get healthy and to get back to the player he was before. And then I think you need commitment and you need effort, like they did in the season that they won the championship. And that hasn't really totally happened this year, at least not for stretches. So I think that's one of the first things they need to address and help defensively, because I think they just have too many issues with spacing and things like that. I don't think their offense is going to be able to carry them. So I think they need to improve defensively, and offensively has been a big problem. They're 24th in offense this year, and you think, one of their biggest problems is spacing. It's also their offense is pretty sluggish. They turn the ball over a lot. So in terms of solutions for that, I mean, it's tough. You want to get, good offensive players out there, but that often goes in contrast with defense. Like if you put an all offense lineup of LeBron, AD, Melo, Malik Monk, and maybe like Wayne Ellington or something like that, like that's just going to get toasted defensively. And they do need to improve defensively. They aren't good enough defensively right now. So I think finding the right lineups has been a really tough thing for the Lakers. And I think, I really don't know what their best lineup is. Like LeBron and AD are definitely in it. And then after that, I mean, maybe Malik Monk, because he's been very good offensively. Is it Westbrook because he's a star and puts up big numbers? Or, is it Stanley Johnson, who at least has been good for them defensively? Maybe Austin Reeves have shown some promise. It's really tough to find a good group for the Lakers, and this team is just not really well constructed with 3 stars getting so much of the money. This is what happens when most of the players on your roster are on a minimum contract. But let's say they do figure it out a little bit. I think they can at least make the playoffs and give a team a tough playoff series, just because they do have LeBron and AD. But if they're the 7 and they're 8 seed and they're playing the Suns or the Warriors, I just think they're going to lose, because I just think those teams are better. So if you think about the offseason now, Maybe they have more possibilities in terms of trades and roster flexibility. A lot of players will have their contracts expiring, a lot of the 1 year players that they just signed. I think Westbrook trade would probably be the number one thing. He'd be an expiring contract. It'd be $44 million, but they could also throw in a 2029 first round pick. So you could have a trade package that looks something like Westbrook, a 2027 first round pick, a 2029 first round pick, maybe Horton Tucker, maybe Kendrick Nunn in there. And then maybe you could trade that for some role players that could help them out. I can't think of a specific trade, but because it's really tough, and I don't know what the NBA will look like this offseason, but at least maybe that gives you a bit more trade flexibility, and maybe they can find something that works for next season. But LeBron is getting old. The Lakers, they're not very good this season. They didn't really do anything to help at the trade deadline. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe get a buyout guy. Maybe they'll be able to turn it around, but things aren't looking good for the Lakers right now. And I think any bigger moves that are really going to make an impact for them down the line are probably going to happen in the offseason. But anyways, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more NBA content.